See Lindelof videos, geometry. Today we're going to be learning how to find and use slopes of lines. So the first thing to know is if you want to see if lines are parallel, their slopes have to be equal. So the slope of one has to be equal to the slope of the second one. If you want to see if lines are perpendicular, the product of their slopes have to be equal to -1. So slope of one times the slope of the other has to equal -1. Okay, so keeping that in mind, now let's look at our problems here. It says, tell whether the lines through the given points are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. I'll go to green. Actually, no, let's go back to blue for a second. If you don't know the formula for slope, it is m is equal to y sub 2, which is your second y value, minus y sub 1 over x sub 2, which is the second x value, that one, minus x sub 1, which is this one. So now that we have our formula, let's try and find the slope of line 1. We'll do it in green. -5 is y sub 2. -5 is y sub 2. So you're going to subtract that from y sub 1, which is 12. Divide that by x sub 2, which is 7, minus x sub 1, which is 8. And -5 minus 12 is like saying -5 plus a -12, which is -17. 7 minus 8 is equal to -1. So your slope is then equal to 17 over 1, or positive 17. And we got that answer using our formula for slope. Okay, now let's look at line 2. So line 2, y sub 2, which is 2, minus y sub 1, which is 3, over x sub 2, which is 8, minus a minus 9. This negative sign, or this minus, is formulaic because it's in our formula, because x sub 2 is minus x sub 1. So this one just comes with our formula. And this -9 comes from, or this negative sign comes from this being a -9. So these two negatives can cancel out, and you can write it as 2 minus 3 over 8 plus 9. But make sure that if you do something like this and you have a formulaic negative sign, you make sure that if you have a negative number, you also include that, because you don't want to say 8 minus 9, because that would give you -1, and that will completely change your answer. Make sure you have both the negative signs, and you cancel them to make a plus sign. Okay, so 2 minus 3 is equal to -1. 8 plus 9 is equal to 17. And again, we got that using our formula for slope. So we already know from looking at our slopes here, 17 is not equal, you can write that, we'll do it in pink. 17 is not equal to -1/17. Therefore, it is not parallel. However, we can try 17 over 1 times -1 over 17 and see if we get -1 as our product. 17 times -1 is -17. 1 times 17 is positive 17. Negative divided by a positive gives you a negative. 17 divided by 17 is 1, -1. So this would be a perpendicular. The answer is perpendicular because the slopes are not the same, so they cannot be parallel, but the product of your two slopes gives you a -1, which, if you go back up here, you'll see that the product of your slopes have to equal -1 for it to be perpendicular. Okay, next one. So again, let's write our formula. Oh, why did that happen? M is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. All right, now that we have that, 4 minus a -4, because this is formulaic, but this is a -4, so we need to have both of those negative signs, because this is y sub 2 and this is y sub 1. Now you take x sub 2, which is -1, minus 3, and you get 4 minus a -4, or 4 plus 4, is equal to 8. And then -1 minus 3 is like saying -1 plus a -3, which gives you -4. So the slope of this line is a -2. And we got that using a formula for slope. If we go down a little bit, now we're going to find the slope for line 2. So y sub 2 minus y sub 1. So 1, that is dotted. That's not what I want. All right, try this again. 1 minus 7, this is y sub 2, and this is y sub 1, over x sub 2, which is 5, minus x sub 1, which is 2. 1 minus 7 is -6. 5 minus 2 is 3. -6 divided by 3 is -2. And again, we got that using, oh, we didn't mean to do that. Try that again. -2. Fix my dotted line. Okay, we got the -2 using the formula for slope. So now we can look to see if everything's dotted. If -2 is equal to -2, and it is, so the answer is parallel. These are parallel lines because the product of -2 times -2 is going to give you a +4, which is not equal to -1, so that won't work. However, -2 is equal to -2, so it is parallel. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!